I feel like all the Godzilla movies I've seen, which I'm probably sure all the ones over here, it's like, why are they trying so hard to make him like, oh no, he's not really trying to kill us.
He's misunderstood, Frank.
He was actually trying to kill that big monster way over
Not
there.
us.
And he just happened to destroy the whole town.
Whoops-a-daisy.
Our lovely protector.
When you're that big, you get a little clumsy.
Let's be nice to him. Like.
Bienvenidos, minasan. Welcome to a slightly warm version of the Otaku podcast. It is kind of getting warm around here now. We're getting to our mid 80s. For account for we're bringing out the ACs and stuff. Joining me in this episode is, of course, the man, the myth, the legend, Ray.
Okay, you say that every time, and I'm always confused by that. Am I just like Salt Snake? Should I have goggles on and say, "Kept you waiting, huh?"
Well, sometimes it's just like I'm trying to hype you up. Trying to build up your stats.
I've been driving trucks. I think I drove a bus. I was cooking, I think, one time. And I was conductor. Or no, that was Ivan.
Think of the clout, Ray. Think of the clout you have.
No,
now.
that was last episode. We talked about clout already. And there was Tifa was there, and Tifa was a good time.
Yeah. Unless you get Barrett, like some people around here.
Always be Red 13. Which leads us to our next ghost.
Hi, Frank.
Oh, hi. I was just...
Big Red 13 fan?
Yes, of course.
Of course.
Just
Canon.
Just
I have a short to prove it.
Just just wasn't expecting to go on a date with.
Not who I was looking for on the first. Not who I thought was going to be there waiting for me.
Yeah, don't worry. Same here, Frank. Same here.
Wanted him more as a wingman.
Yeah, because it was me and Barrett, and we're going talking about life in general. And they're like, and I was like, Tifa, no. So nobody. Okay, wait, huh? What?
And that's why, gentlemen, at a certain point, you say, "Congratulations, team. You're all dead to me except Tifa."
Wait, did you get Barrett?
I got Barrett.
Oh wow!
You guys weren't hardcore enough. You guys didn't believe in the waifu power.
I'm sorry. We're just trying to help our friends.
How did
I'm
that
sorry.
They're dead. They're dead.
It's like, isn't Tifa? It's nice to see you.
It's me and Tifa, and then some noise along the side next to Tifa. I think I can't see beyond her shoulders.
I don't know. You hear that? I don't know.
I was too busy getting, looking into her eyes when we're on that Ferris wheel, and then you guys were on the other ones doing whatever you're doing over there.
But anyway, so I guess in this special episode of the podcast, we're going to review two shows that we all watched or try to watch, because one of the shows was a little hard to go all the way through with.
You decided it exploded on itself, perhaps.
Yeah. With that being said, the new Fallout show and Godzilla Minus One, which I still think that's interesting.
Isn't it 0? Or is it?
No, it's minus.
Is it 1?
Yeah,
is it a 1 or 0?
It can't be a 0 because if it's
minus 1.
Is it minus 1? I was gonna say 0. Sound like 0 more.
I'm waiting for minus 3.
Isn't there another Godzilla called 0?
There could be. There's Shin Godzilla. That was the previous one.
Yeah, the Ano joint, which the Godzilla looked all
sure is just evil.
Look at this. Look at this.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm definitely not saying that. But it sure looks familiar.
Ano has a style,
and he's not afraid to go back to that style.
Someday I want to watch the Shin Ultraman, all the other.
Oh yeah, there's
Japanese
a Kamen Rider too, right?
Kamen Rider. I think there's one more now.
Is there another one? I mean, we're running out of Japanese properties here.
Wherever one's from childhood will do now.
I know, right? Whatever's nostalgia enough for me, yeah, I'll do that.
And whichever one's going boom. I bet you if he fits in every single one, everyone should bow.
Just don't let MGM/Amazon hear that song. That sounds awfully familiar, though.
Yeah, I wonder what that's from, or who's over. I don't know. But before we get to, I guess that our discussion,
our nuclear fallout.
Yeah, everything. That's what. Good job, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go into our weeks. And I know for a little fun, a little bit of a spontaneity. Let's ask Frank.
Oh, okay.
So how you been doing so far?
Well, believe it or not, I went back to Final Fantasy.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. You? No, not you, Frank.
Well, me and my brother were playing it, and we're at the last part, and I kind of forgot to mention the last episode that despite all of the things that bothered me about it, and I feel that those things that bothered me were because of the original. So I was curious to hear what Miles had to think since he hadn't played the original. I
There
wonder,
you
because I had the bar was high and then,
True.
So
Well, I mean,
What a reverse Uno card. How's your week? Oh yeah, how was your week?
I didn't expect the Tyson's turn now. It's like I didn't. Who's just Magic Cylinder? What happened?
I
here?
guess so. There goes your life points, or did you gain life? I think you gained life points.
Okay, I gotta do the classic. My life points.
the Yu-Gi-Oh card.
Pretty much.
And then why you just come over, just punch him, and that's it. You won. There, congrats. Take the cards.
All right, but Final Fantasy. Here comes Cloud again, once again on the podcast.
I like Cloud's like, I'm not done. See, the thing is, like, I got close to finish it, but technically didn't finish it yet. But I'm finished with the game. Well, no, I guess I'm at the last boss. I guess
The 4-hour boss.
Yeah, the 4-hour boss. Which is like, no, I don't have time for that today.
It's a big boss.
Well, it's always.
You gotta make it epic.
It's always a normal boss. By the way, has one big giant boss. They had to beat multiple segments every time.
It's something. I will warn you, gentlemen. Let's try to keep it slightly, spoiler-ish free. Since
All I'm saying, if you play Kingdom Hearts, you kind of know where
there's
this is
also
going.
that, which I teased about last episode.
Nomura has one game style. He loves that game style.
He's stuck in PS2. Let's say that.
All right, you can tell me about it off the podcast or when you finish it. But the other thing I wanted to mention about it was, despite the story stuff that we were confused about, it was pretty cool. The ending, how they all pitched in, and
all right,
like the transition when you're fighting Genova, and it just the camera just moves down and it's the next party. Like, that was pretty sweet. What else? I did notice that it was slightly less confusing this time watching it around.
You mean with
like,
Sephiroth, or
like just the whole ending scenes and like trying to pay attention to what they're saying and stuff like that. So.
Okay, so you made it all pretty much. You beat it a second time through.
No, because we're stuck like on
the big boss, or
like the 6th phase of the boss.
Oh yeah, there's quite a few phases.
So I have more answers and yet more questions. So I'll leave that at that. Other than that, took a break from Tales. Been focusing on watching animes.
Ooh.
So I started the jellyfish one that we're supposed to watch.
Ah, yes.
And I was trying to finish quickly Haikyu.
Oh, that's multiple seasons. How far have you been in Haikyu, and have you seen it before recently?
I've seen it before, so I started from season 3.
Okay.
Finished that pretty quickly. And now I'm on season 4, but I got tired, so I went because my cousin was like, "Watch it, so we can go watch the movie." And I'm like, "All right." And season 3 was cool, except that I think it was a little too long.
Is that the one that's all one game?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I know about it.
Yeah, it was a little too long, so
that's a hell of a game, by the way.
It was cool. The last part of the game is cool, but I just felt that they took long with some parts. I'm like, come on, let's move.
Right.
It's like, if we could do, so can we? And
then season 4 for me so far is boring. Like, that show is just okay. Like, it's not like you will feel like you're wasting your time, but it doesn't feel like a must watch. It has some funny moments and then it has some cool moments, but it's not consistent with it, in my opinion.
It's no Ippo.
No, it's no Ippo. It's no Ao Ashi. It's no Gingai Kickoff. It's better than Blue Lock.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm watching that, but I just can't get into it. I know it's kind of like, I feel like what it's trying to do, it's just building up. Like, okay, now we're in the training phase.
Right.
I guess I feel like Ivan. It's like, I don't like when you don't know what to do. You know? He doesn't like noobs.
That's true. Yeah.
So the main character is like a big time noob.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it literally is like, so this is a basketball or volleyball in this case.
If I hit it, it goes up. Wow.
You want to get the ball on the floor, and they score points if it hits the floor.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that my favorite characters get like no airtime. So it's like,
that is always a bummer.
So I'm watching that, and then that's it for anime. I did start watching. I know it's not anime or video game, but started watching the Clipper series.
Clipper series.
Yeah, Clipped.
Yeah,
It's a
Like I say, we're talking about become a sports podcast. I don't know.
It's on Hulu.
I want to tell you this, Frank. They didn't make it, Frank. I just want to tell you.
Yeah.
As usual, the Clippers didn't make it.
It's a story of the whole Donald Sterling, all that nonsense when that happened before Steve Ballmer bought them. There was
No,
that time.
Okay, so we are talking about I was making the joke, but we actually are talking about the Clippers.
Yes.
Okay.
Because you see a picture because
That's funny.
Lawrence Fishburne's playing Doc Rivers.
Oh, okay. That checks out
during the time when because that was a big deal because there was they let Austin him out to for
and then here come Microsoft Bucks.
But that came out on Hulu last week.
Is it a series, a movie? What is it?
I thought it was gonna be a movie, but I guess it's a series.
Oh, it's a series. How is it, Frank?
It's interesting. I like it. I'm just wondering how accurate it is. Well, first of all, the actors do not look like the players.
Well, I imagine there's
like at all. Like someone was like, "What?" I'm sure you could have found somebody that looks more like. But
what happened to Blake here?
I know Blake is like the skinny dude. He's supposed to be.
He's like real short too, and everything. Like what?
God, how do I compare it? Like, imagine they cast Ipo in a movie. And it's just like this super dark, tall guy, like it
makes sense.
Okay.
Japan's best fighter, right here.
Like, it just doesn't look like what they're supposed to look like.
Right,
Little Mermaid.
It does help, like especially for us who like we know our LA sports teams. We know what these guys look like, right? Especially they play for the team that because for a while the Clippers team was that Clippers team for a minute and never went anywhere, but they wanted to go somewhere. Hey, but we know what these guys look like, right?
Like they say in the show, we sell hope.
At least as season ticket holders, at least.
We don't care if we win, but we care if you think we're gonna win.
If you believe, then come on down.
That's the important part. It's just crazy how bad it was.
Assuming
it's super accurate. It was terrible from day one. Like the owner was terrible. I have no idea why Doc Rivers stayed there. I have no idea why the players played.
Right.
It's just wow. Well, like for me, it was a dumpster fire.
Okay.
I mean, it was just taking the series by its...
Right, assuming... Yeah, exactly.
Or maybe they're just dramatizing things.
It could be a little bit of both. Usually it would be the case I find in such series.
And then I wonder if Doc Rivers was that arrogant. Like, going in day one, we're going to win.
I mean, he had a great record
and
before that.
At the time, he was with the Celtics for a long time. They won he won a lot of championships.
And then totally dissing the staff just getting there is like... They're introducing him to the staff, and he's like, "Oh, why do I care about you guys if you guys haven't won in 40 years? Like,
right? Don't
be proud that you've been here 25. What? That's not how you
could be
treat people.
Well,
like,
it depends. It's one of those things, like
he was the big name at the time.
I'm assuming it's probably based on a book or something that has made some.
Based on some extra, you don't know. You have to. Interview everyone and find out. And behind the scenes,
the Laker one, winning time. I think that only lasts for like 2 seasons. During the Showtime Lakers.
That one was ridiculous.
I didn't see. I was curious, but I never did see it. Was that any good, Frank, or no?
I couldn't watch that.
Okay, so I'll take that as a no.
But yeah, that's what I'm watching.
Okay. How long is it?
Well, so far it's only 2 episodes, so I don't know how.
It's like live.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, gotcha.
So tune in next time.
There you go. I will be curious about your review.
Hopefully the Clippers will win the championship in this series.
In this timeline. This one, they'll definitely do it.
In this universe. I mean.
There you go. There's an isekai series for you. So what if the Clippers wins to the Lakers? What will happen?
There you go.
This is the multiverse I needed.
It'll be called Staples Center, that's what.
Imagine Staples Center's still here. Everyone's fine. Everyone's better.
Hey, I mean,
LeBron will be back in Cleveland or something.
Yeah.
I mean, now that I think about it, the Clippers should have won. The stadium was named like
they had numerous chances.
It matched the Clippers, Staples and Clippers.
Weren't they literally 3-1 like multiple times and still could never seal the deal?
That's a record we're proud of.
And that's why I'll stick with my Dodgers Lakers.
Climb to the mountain top so much.
Enjoy that view and then climb back down. Or fall down. One or the other.
The reason you go up there is to slide down.
That's true. Real fast. As
you go all the way down.
Yeah.
Just think Breath of the Wild with the shield. Down you go. Down you go with you.
Like you build like one of those contraption things, fly the zoning items, and then you fall down.
There you go.
Like even though like you said, this was last a long time.
Ran out of battery.
So next year perhaps.
There you go. Gotta believe.
Oh yeah. Definitely believe. Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. Do you want to? I guess. Ray, I guess where you've been going?
Where have I been going? I've been going here. I've been coming here to record the podcast. That's where I've been going, Miles. Where have you been going?
Wait, okay. What have you been doing? I guess.
There you go.
After
after I've been going,
the Rebirth. Was it off the shoulders?
Indeed, I took that big weight off my shoulders. Indeed, from last episode. So a few things or two things that come to mind that I've been able to dabble a little bit in. One is something that you know, Miles, very well since we watched it together. A anime title called FLCL Alternative.
FLCL.
Indeed. So during our little anime trip to San Jose, California for Fanime Con, we enjoyed.
Oh, that happened, huh?
That did happen, Miles.
I was there.
Seems like 1,000 years ago, but we did for that hot minute. We had a little bit of fun.
That was last week.
Yeah, it's all a blur at this point. But yes, while we were there chilling out late night, enjoying our hotel room, we dabbled into our Crunchyroll account and watched the other FLCL or I always don't. What do you call it?
FLCL.
FLCL, I guess. I probably say fully cool.
Everyone usually says fully cool. I know.
Indeed. So the original is the original, and it's I think in our first or second episode we talk about favorite animes. I'm pretty sure I brought up Fully Cooley as one of my favorites. Yeah. And so when they announced they were going to make 2 new series based off the original, I was like, wow, that's almost an impossible task. Good luck with that. And Fully Cooley Progressive definitely proved my point of, wow, that just did not understand the assignment and fucked it up terribly, terribly bad. And so I had very little hope for the second show being Fully Cooley Alternative. And so I just kind of stayed away for the longest time, but it was just the right amount of episodes. I could say we're trying to do con stuff, panels and this and that, running around like an exhibit hall and this and that. And it was like, well, it's 6 episodes, get it in like a Band-Aid, let's get it over with. Because I know there's also grunge, which also I hear not very good things about.
Well, it's CG, so I mean that
already minus points already for most anime fans. But with Alternative, actually okay. It's not bad. I don't think it. For one, it's quite the shoes to fill in. Which once again, why I would suggest never even try to make a successor to a random like OVA series that people did at Gainax out of boredom more than anything, and just out of random thoughts and feelings of trying to express. I don't know, puberty, ? And so what a daunting task to try to recreate something 10, 15 years after the fact from a different studio with very little guidance from the creative staff that made the original series. But once again, Alternative, I'm trying to remember which one's the good one.
Alternative. Progressive's the other one.
Progressive's the bad one. Alternative's the good one. It sticks the landing a lot more better. It focuses more, I guess, on the female perspective, which Progressive was also trying to do, but not very well at all.
The thing with Progressive was trying to it's actually after events of Fully Cooley original.
Yeah, well,
allegedly.
Yes, there was they imply the original show more in that one than in this one, but you could still make the argument at some point the events of the other one occurred at some point because it's all loosey-goosey when it comes to the lore of Fully Cooley, which once again, if you're looking at the lore of Fully Cooley, you're really trying hard to make sense out of nonsense. Good luck with that.
It's fun, and the pillows are here.
And that's what it is, and that's what matters. It's a good, wacky, fun time with cool animation and really good music. And we get a little bit that this is for people who do not grow up with the original Fully Cooley. This is like a good prequel series, maybe, despite it's not really, but you could make the argument it could be.
Well, it did water down a lot of things that you understand. Oh, that's what they meant by doing this. Oh,
yes, it is indeed Fully Cooley light, I guess is what I'm calling it in my head canon, because it is doing the basic steps and maybe sometimes a little too copy and paste from the original 6-episode series, and just kind of repurposing with a ever so slightly twist, and I mean slight twist in this one, but it understood the assignment and did a much better job of giving more feels and vibes of the original Fully Cooley.
Even had a cooler ending.
Yeah, and actually, it really, I had that feeling once. I'm thinking like, oh, it was good. Trying to convince myself it was bad. I'm like, no, it was all right.
No, it says pillows are here, Ray. Oh, really?
The biggest knockoff or negative thing I can say about the show is it is the same pillow songs again, which if that's what you want, and then that's good enough. But for me, I kind of want it's okay. There's 1 or 2 songs you definitely have to play at some point in the series, but let's introduced some new tracks from the band. They've been around. That was from like late 90s, early 2000s. I bet you they have a couple more tracks we could use in the series, but it didn't seem like they used newer tracks.
Ray's not going to list all of them right now. You could play this song and this song and this song.
I'm pretty sure they're on Spotify and everything else out there. You can enjoy your streaming music these days. But yeah, that was probably the biggest complaint. Knockoff, once again, I could complain about is they used the same songs a few too many times for my liking. But once again, it's a good starting point, and for those who watched the original Fully Cool, maybe never really thought about it, which I don't blame you, because once again, you'll hurt your head trying to explain everything. Here, this one, it's a little bit more obvious and a little on the nose to help you out.
Like this, see this moment? It's because of this reason. That's why this girl's has his issue.
When you're growing up, you learn a lot of things and you figure out who you want to be in this world we find ourselves in. And perhaps some super wacky, over-the-top alien action might occur, apparently, in the world of Fully Cooley. So yeah, it was a cute little show that had I guess, the best version, I guess we're going to get, of a sequel-prequel in the Fully Cool universe, since I don't kind of want to watch... someone's got to really pay me. I'm going to get really drunk and watch grunge.
Well, not grunge, but it's you want to watch the other one, which is a sequel to Alternative. There's one more.
Okay, I was going to say, come again? What are you talking about?
Well, I was saying there's another one.
Alternative 2?
Yeah, I forgot what it's called, but it's like, because there's grunge and then there's
another
one is actually a sequel to Alternative.
Sure.
But that one, don't worry, brother. It's a regular animation, no CG nonsense.
Well, yeah, okay, well, that's at least something. But once again, like, this is already the taller to ask.
I never see any, like, I mean, I heard grunge came out, and then, like, after that?
Yeah, it came and died. I saw, or heard one or two things through my anime outlets, and everyone was like, yeah, it sucks. And I'm like, yeah, I figured as much. And I didn't bother looking any further than that. But Alternative is good. It's the only worth watching if you know the original like we do. So that is my recommendation for this week. And then the other thing, I guess an update, since we've tackled it or talked about it a few times here on the podcast, also you, Miles, involved with this one, is on the Disney Plus service. You can watch all the Star Wars content. Half of it is garbage, but one that is actually worth...
Don't you want to see how Anakin becomes Darth Vader?
It turns out he's a dumb kid and everyone's an idiot around him, so of course he gets that far, or what happens, what happens.
Or maybe he's a smart one, like, you know what? He's not wrong if you really think about it.
The Jedi are pretty dumb. Let's say that in the prequel movies. But the Star Wars title or series I'm talking about that actually is worth your time and good and worth watching is Star Wars Rebels once again.
It's also still made by the same team, which is hilarious.
They say that, and I need to look up the credits because something happened between A and B, and one is good and one is not. So there's a difference here, and I'm still trying to figure out where it happened and who it is and who's responsible for the goodness that is Star Wars Rebels. So now we are, finished season 3 now, brother? Is that correct? Is it 3 or 4?
We're now in the last season.
We're on the last season. That's all I remember. And yeah, once again, it's still doing what I remember Star Wars being. It's about the evil empire and these small-time rebels trying to make a difference and make a better change in the world, or the galaxy, let's say. And yeah, it's but there's still Jedis involved, but they're just part of the big, a cog in the machine, if you will, which to me is always Star Wars when it's best. When the whole cog is Jedis, that doesn't work, as we've seen in the prequel movies. So it's nice to see them have a more smaller role. A lot of Mandalorians and lore happening that. So if you're a fan of the Mandalorian series, there's a little bit more explanation and I guess juicy spoilers, details that comes up later on.
You go like, I get this now.
So that's where so that's from there, and this means that it makes a little bit more sense. So yeah, it's just without getting too many spoilers and details, it keeps living up to the hype. They kind of shuffle the cards just enough to make it feel refreshing, and there are a lot of cameos from other characters as you see in other movies and this and that.
But very short, sweet, one episode, and that's it.
Yeah, we're in, we're out. We know what we want to do. They're precise. And once again, they brought the feels every so often, which Clone Wars desperately tried, but just epically failed more often than not, trying to succeed in that front. So it's just really nice to finally see. It took a long time, but a a lot of these people finally got their act together, or maybe they finally got the freedom, question mark, I don't know. Something to look up in behind the scenes after we finish this production.
Oh, that's what happened. They watched the first. Oh.
Indeed. And it is funny to see some conclusions of certain characters who showed up in movies and in Clone Wars and then get a conclusion in this series.
Yeah.
Without getting to spoilers. So, like I said, they do a good job of a little bit of this, a little bit brand new content, but also content that you're familiar with, the characters you're familiar with. So, as a hardcore OG Star Wars fan, I gotta be very accurate on that statement. It's fun to see certain characters and situations that I can see the comparisons to old school Star Wars.
Well, they weren't afraid to do weird team ups with both good and bad guys, and kind of make you think. There's actually growth in here. There's some semblance of thought, storytelling,
common fucking sense, basically.
Yeah, like and that's why we do the things we do. Okay, got it.
It does make a lot more sense.
Let Anakin handle.
Give it Anakin. You know, there's an issue on the water planet. Who should we send? Should we send the Jedi who could breathe underwater? Nah, send an Anakin. That makes sense. Oh, Yoda. He makes a lot of bad decisions, let's say.
He's dumb, I think.
Yeah, indeed. That's why he's stuck on the Dagobah or whatever it's called these days.
Whatever. When you retire, just I'm out.
Yeah, basically. Sounds like your problem now. I'm out. Peace. But yeah, I think that's about it. Just still surprisingly having a very good time watching Star Wars Rebels. And once again, do not judge a book by its cover. Because by looking at the thumbnail, you're like, well, it's just a silly kids cartoon show. But it is much more than that. So if you're looking for good OG Star Wars vibes, then Star Wars Rebels, once again, worth your time. And that is it for me, brother. That's it for, hopefully I'll have a little bit more gaming and anime under my belt next time on the podcast.
All right, I'll bring the game over here, everybody. So for my week, since Rebirth, I guess, is on pause for now because I need to find time to play apparently a 4-hour boss. I guess now in 2.2 of Star Rail. No, I guess there.
Honkai?
The Honkai.
The waifus?
I get what.
Is it not the waifu game?
Not to 2.3. Anyway, but so that was fun. You know, that I guess we're halfway through the story when we started from 2.1. So 2.3 is supposed to be like the final bit, and then we're moving on to another planet. There's usually they do on these patches. They like go from 2.0 to 2.6, and then they move on to the next one.
It's always another planet out there full of waifus and husbandos.
Actually, coming up, there'll be a bunch of husbandos. They were showing during the last streaming event. Yes,
got a
preview thing, I guess. They actually, because people said, man, you guys have too many waifus in this game. Where's the guys at?
Where the boys at?
And it's like, I guess so. Now we're gonna have.
They're on the first wheel in Final Fantasy Rebirth.
So I've been doing that, trying to. I guess I almost hit the level cap. You know, I'm at the final tier of the level cap for me. So that's after that. I don't know. I can't level up anymore. I don't know if I should be. I played the game too much, or I did so well. I don't know.
And once again, he wept for those no more worlds to conquer.
Well, there's more to conquer because they're always new.
Until the next update, that is.
There's always new add-ons to put for your characters.
Gotta get those costumes,
and you have to upgrade your character's talents. There's always a chance to grind.
Mm-hmm. And perhaps spend a few dollars while you grind.
It's into 2.3.
Don't want to waste your time, do you? Gotta spend a little bit of money.
I mean, at least the neat thing is that at least in 2.0, when they did change, reset all the top ups because if you
top ups.
Well, that's what you pay money, you get double the credit.
Oh, of course.
So
you're losing money by not spending money.
But see, I'm saving. For 2.3. There's no characters here in 2.2.
And that's where we're gonna break open the piggy bank.
Come here,
piggy.
Wait, you call me what? Is that Free Willy? That move?
Here you go.
It was like like the Anya song, like whenever always did we were at SeaWorld, always played it when the Shamu show. It's like I got played like the 80s. Like there's only because we watched that show so many times as kids. I was like, okay, here we go.
Thank you, brother, for taking the 2-hour drive to come to LA for us for this podcast.
So there's that. We kind of forget that's not till next week. Yes.
Yeah,
because there's.
I can quit anytime. He says I can quit anytime.
Hey, you gotta put the hard work in to get the free pulls. You gotta put the hard work. Let's see what else. Well, I did, but I've been watching. It's granted, it's only like 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
There's anime out there that's Love Live Anime, which is like 3 minute little short videos of like see
Waifus and idols really is the Miles week, isn't it?
Well, I'm writing the podcast this week. We're going to go with ours this week.
That's why we don't. This is what have I done?
So, but that's fine. But no, they're 3 minute little shorts. You know, you look forward to every Friday.
Are they singing and dancing?
Are
they doing cute things?
They're doing cute things, and there's not real time to sing and dance. There was on 3 minutes, so it's like
the final episode.
You like, and like, you argue technically 45 seconds. That's really the ending song, so it's like 2 and 15 seconds. And I look forward to it. So I think he's going, especially through all the our next topics. Watching through that. I guess that concludes my week. Then I guess we'll now move on forward to the topic of two topics of the day.
It's a double feature
as usual. Where I guess we're going to talk about nuclear fission, and remember we're going to talk about the Fallout series, Doc Howard's Fallout series,
indeed,
and Godzilla Minus One.
So like Zero more. I don't know why Zero sounds better to me.
But see, it can't be.
It doesn't sound stupid enough. I need it to sound stupider.
Wait till it announce like Godzilla Minus 2 and Minus 3. Because if you go, like, you just go negative, like just go backwards, like going further. Be like,
didn't you know this was when the first nuclear bomb fell?
I'm waiting for like when to go
the other one.
Go the caveman times to go ooh.
Godzilla, oh no. Oh, so just perfect English?
Oh, like, unga.
Godzilla.
But yeah, so let's get the band-aid out. Let's just take the band off. Let's talk about the Fallout series first, I guess, everyone. So on Amazon, everyone knows about it. There's the Fallout show that everyone somehow loves, because I guess people know Fallout numbers are going up now, and maybe we get a new game out of this. I guess Fallout is, basically it's a canon show, which I guess we meet our three protagonists, Vault Dweller, I guess Brotherhood of Steel, which I'm trying to remember what exactly that is, but the show didn't bother to ask to tell us, so I guess I don't know.
It's a cult, basically.
Yeah, it sounds like a cult with squires, and
it's a whole thing, knighthood and all that.
And then the Ghoul, which actually really at the end of the day is really the main protagonist, really.
Pretty much.
But apparently the show's like, but look at these three detectives.
It's the most popular actor on the rosters, put it that way.
Yeah. It's hard to describe because the show's like, well, I mean, it takes place, I guess, in Sandy Dunes? No, I said it wrong.
Well, it's like L.A., but like alternative timeline L.A.
Yeah.
How fitting.
The 1950s, so nuclear went out there, everyone went to the vaults, and 217 years later, when someone comes out because reasons.
Because that's a Fallout game.
And then the Wanderer, I guess Lucy, the vault person, I guess we're following, has to go out into the world to find her dad, which gets taken by raiders who happen to be near all the vaults that have like some TV magic, all to be really actually connected to each other.
Well, they are. Yeah, that's what we're told is these two vaults are connected to each other.
Well, there's three. Yeah.
Well,
but it's just like, well, that's a convenience there. So yeah, so it's weird because it's a lot of even to this moment, even though I finished it recently, I still don't know exactly what the story really is, other than other than kind of tell us like it's kind of like a Fallout game, right? That's like the best way to describe it.
Well, go ahead, Miles, and then I'll ask you.
Because I feel like at the end of the day, we follow the Vault Dweller, as they call her, out to go wander the LA wasteland to find her dad. And then all this other gobbly stuff happens, and we bump into other people along the way, and then it gets resolved, but not quite. There's that. So that is open discussions of I guess how we feel about the show.
Well, let me ask you, gentlemen, because I'm pretty sure this is the case, but has either one of you played a Fallout video game?
No.
I play Fallout Shelter.
All right, points for that, I guess, Miles, but that's about it, if sounds like.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I seen you play Fallout 3, and you weren't having fun with that.
Well, that's what I was going to say. So, as the only one I'm not trying to, I guess it sounds like I'm trying to blow myself, but, as the only person who has a little context of the, let's say, source material, but it depends, because hardcore, so here it is, I guess we're just playing this now. from my understanding is, so there's Fallout 1 and 2, which was done by the original creators of the Fallout series, right?
Yeah.
And I forget who the developer and publisher was, blah, blah, blah. But my understanding is, if I remember my video game history right, is they went bankruptcy, and down the line, Bethesda Games picked up the rights to the Fallout series and made Fallout 3, which was a very popular game for the 360 and PS3 at the time.
Yeah.
Did very well, and went on to then make Fallout. Well, there's Fallout New Vegas, but that was done by Obsidian. And then, of course, then Bethesda went back and did Fallout 4 themselves. And so that's where we're at with the popular Fallout games in recent history. Out of those games, I've played only 3 and 4. The third game, I was very forcing myself to play it because I didn't really like it, but it was just so everyone was talking hype, this and that. And so I was trying to convince myself, like, it must be good. Just stick with it. It must be good. Didn't really work for me. But Fallout 4, surprisingly, everyone hated. It's fun. It was like almost like Metal Gear Solid 2 all over again for me, where missing the controversy of Metal Gear Solid 2 and just playing Metal Gear Solid 2 as my first game in the entry, I had a good time with Metal Gear Solid 2. Yeah. I was confused what happened on Shadow Moses, but overall had a good time, while everyone else had a miserable time. And with Fallout 4 was a similar thing. As a person who didn't really get Fallout 3, but kind of enjoyed Fallout 4 a little bit more than 3, I was the only person who enjoyed Fallout 4, apparently, because everyone hates Fallout 4. So everything flew off from it. So for hardcore Fallout fans, maybe this isn't the podcast for you also, by the way. So I want to just say that's our starting point when it comes to the Fallout universe. But yeah, I did manage to finish it. Without getting to too many spoilers immediately, I'll save the spoilers as a different section of our Fallout discussion. It had a very rough start for me. I mentioned on the last podcast with me, it was just me and Frank talking about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. We mentioned a little bit. We both dabbled in Fallout, but we both kind of fell off Fallout. But I did manage to finish it for this podcast episode we're doing right now. And I will say it does get better if you stick with it to the very end.
Right.
But also, as a person, once again, who's only dabbled in 3 and 4, I haven't, like I said, never really played New Vegas, never played the OG ones. And like I said, people talk like OG, like 1 and 2 is like, oh, there's 1 and 2, and then there's everything after the Bethesda Fallout, which is like, I guess the fake Fallout for hardcore fans, maybe. Yeah. It sounds like it. I don't know 100%. But that's the opinion I get listening in a little bit. It's weird because there's some parts of it, like you definitely see, oh, this is from 3, oh, this is from 4, despite those games technically occur on the East Coast, while this series happens once again on the West Coast here in LA. But there's a lot of things that just I was surprised they were doing because it sounded smarter than the video game writing ever got in 3 and 4. So I was surprised what happens towards the end. Once again, I'll save the spoilers for a little bit. But yes, if you stick with it, it does get better. But almost like the easy comparison that comes to my mind is like a Steins Gate situation. Yeah. Where you're watching the first, 7-9 episodes of Steins Gate, and you're like, what the fuck is the point of this show? But if you stick it to the last episode or two, you're kind of like, oh, okay. And then if you have video game context, you're like, wait, but the video games aren't this smart.
Yeah.
So you're kind of confused also at the same time. So I feel like this series is best for people who have no context of these games, but you understand, oh, Fallout, it must be about nuclear war and, oh, a what if Cold War situation, which most Americans could get because they know their American history.
I do know that this show, like, sales of Fallout 4 went up the roof when the show came out. And people love the stuff in the show, but I don't know if they tried again.
Well, hopefully their expectations from the TV show was able to match in Fallout 4. Once again, I actually liked Fallout 4. I think there's a difference between the two products. Unless maybe I just missed certain things about Fallout 3 and 4, which granted could happen because by 3 I was a zombie, and 4 it wasn't until like halfway through of that I went like, oh, I get this game now. And there's a couple mysterious things, and I'm a sucker for mystery. Yeah. So I did appreciate that part. But honestly, minus the brothers story arc, I was kind of falling asleep for those like first 3 or 4 episodes. It's an 8-episode series, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's 8 episodes, like they're each an hour long, except for one episode's match to be 50 for some reason.
Yeah, a lot of them are like an hour, literally like 60 minutes long. So 8-hour series, safe to say. It's like I said, if you can stick with it, I think it might be worth it. It's one of those, sadly, it depends what they do in season 2. once again, talking spoilers, the teaser season 2, I imagine, might be good from another fellow co-host of our podcast. Talked very hype about the teaser at the end of this one. So we'll see how much video game Fallout makes influence in season 2 of this one. So at least you, Frank, how was your early impressions about Fallout, and how excited about this series, Frank?
Frank's if you guys wonder, Frank's gonna be like a. Here we go.
Well, early and only impressions, bad. Well, you know what? The first 2 minutes had me hyped.
Okay.
I think you literally said this before.
Yeah, I think I did.
You're consistent, Frank. You're consistent.
I still believe it. I mean, what you said gives me hope. I might finish it, but I'm just gonna watch things I actually want to watch first, and then.
I don't blame you, Frank.
To me, it's just they took a too silly approach. I mean, I wish they would just take it serious, like with certain things. And I don't know much about what's gonna happen with the story, but although it did seem kind of weird, like in the beginning, with the story was like he wants to get married, and then they take over the bunker or vault or wherever they are.
Yeah, the vaults. Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know why they got away exactly. It's just kind of weird, like, because I felt the people that took over had all the advantage, and they just like, oh, you know what, for story purposes, will you go.
Somehow they lost.
Yeah, I don't know, that was weird. I mean, and that's about as far as I got. I know I did sort of watch a little bit more, but I wasn't paying attention after that, because I noticed there was like this guy, and then there was these robot suits or something.
The power suits.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and so I think that's where it kind of lost me. Like, wait, now we're not going with Lucy. Now we're talking about other random characters. So it's like I'm just like I was barely invested in Lucy. Now you now
switching protagonists.
Now you want me to start over? So I guess the coolest thing that happened was when that guy tried to kill her. I thought that was like, oh, well, that's the twist. And
that was dramatic.
And then the whole just fighting part was just silly for me. Like, that should have been a commercial. It's just like, that's just how over the top it was.
Pikachu flying over in the sky.
You know, yeah, it kind of reminded me, like, you know, if you switch all the characters in that fight scene and just switch each character for like a different Smash Bros. Character.
I was gonna say all the Fire Emblem characters, all the sword users.
Yeah, it's just be like, oh wow, this is, and I hate this word. This is epic, but I can't think of a better word right now. But it's just a bunch of random people just fighting, and like, look at me, how I make you bleed.
But it's the blood and guts. Whoa, look how bloody it is, Frank. Yeah, whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah,
and the sad old timey music plays. You're like, whoa, I've never seen this before. Definitely never.
When it comes to violence, I think less is more.
I agree. I agree, Frank.
I mean, I think it just after a while it gets diluted and just become numb to it. It has the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth Sephiroth problem, where it's just too much. Come on, I need you to like
go away.
Let me miss you. Like,
I can't miss you if you're still here.
Like, I still remember what you look like. Come on. Like,
yeah.
So I mean, it's just like you see some guy get stabbed, and then you see another guy get stabbed. Like, okay.
I guess he got stabbed. That sucks.
So that's pretty much my impressions of it. I'm waiting to hear something
good.
Well, you ain't gonna find it here probably.
Well, I think at the end of the day, I'm a little bit more positive, but I'm like I don't know, 60-40 positive about it.
The problem is, like, you know, those first 1 or 2 episodes, the show doesn't know what it's trying to do. Like, it wants to try and do like a Grand Theft Auto. Look, we're gonna follow this protagonist.
Oh, like number 5.
Yeah, let's see what this guy's doing. And then we literally cut to black. And then now, like, you come back and, like, now we're over here. We're going to talk about this guy's story.
They're trying to make it a mystery. They did a lot of weird... it's like partly editing and just partly storytelling of when they reveal information to you as the viewer. And I guess they're hoping to get the younger audience who's like, oh, my goodness gracious, look at the ultra violence. My goodness gracious. And, oh, that's so weird and crazy, wacky. I guess they're trying to appeal to the boys audience, because that also has a lot of that going on in that show, where ultra violence, but then after a while, as Frank pointed out, you kind of numb to it and it doesn't really work for you. But then, like, I guess it's kind of the point. It's like, oh, isn't that funny? And a satire of like, oh, this and that, but no, it doesn't matter. It's just every day and the boys and the fallout. Everyone's dying and bleeding out.
Yeah, but like
horrible fashion.
But as
the viewer, you also get numb, and it doesn't work for you. Also,
it is weird because I never like a lot of the gore and stuff. I mean, obviously, nuclear fallout.
Shoot the limbs.
No, there's shoot limb, but I didn't even see that. I didn't see the vast of them all. Like at least do
it's
that.
It's funny to see the physics of the arm falling off and see where it ricochet off the wall.
But it got way too fast. The humor comes when it comes, it's terrible.
The humor is a little over the place.
And it's like, but isn't that funny though? They added sex scenes for some reason, but like, why?
Because I'm horny, that's why.
But then afterwards, they're going to go, now kill her now. It's like,
well, the juxtaposition of, oh, it's perfect to, it's the worst day of my life. Never mind.
Yeah, but it's a lot. If you're somewhat no Fallout, it's a little much. Like I said, if anyone like walks in like, oh, look at the violence, look, it's like The Boys, the show that's on Amazon, the same way. No, that's the same thing.
How fitting. We're hoping you feel like this one, you'll all enjoy this one as well.
But it's a little disjointed. It's a little as like the first 2 or 3 episodes, you're kind of like, who am I supposed to cheer for here? Because am I following him? Is he the protagonist, or she's the protagonist? Who am I following here? Because they always fade to black. Do like some weird one-liner or some weird joke, and then you move on to another character. Like, but what happened just there right now? And it was very, like you said, the editing just like it's all over the place.
Yeah, it's fine because I actually do like multiple perspectives when it comes to any stories like that. Like, or I guess like in this example, but it's just the problem is early on, I guess they're hoping you have a feeling towards certain characters, but you don't have enough information to feel anything towards them. And it's not until like, I want to say it's like episode like 4 or 5 where you get a little bit more of their details and back history. You're like, oh, okay, that's good to know. And it's like, why the fuck didn't they tell me this like in episode 2 or 3? Because there's a whole thing, which I guess, I think we covered our general non-spoiler talk, I think. Is that?
Yeah, we went into spoilers.
We're feeling good. So yeah, I guess the spoilers here is the of course I forget what is the Cooper character, not to be confused with Agent Cooper, who's the dad. That's a different thing, different show. But of course I can't help but make the crossover in my universe and timeline. Boy, that last season Twin Peaks was sure something, wasn't it? But I'll save that for another podcast. And focus on Fallout. Yes, that character who we see him,
the ghoul, right?
The ghoul, I guess, is to simplify. The actor. I know they were trying to do. So early on, they were trying to do this whole thing about, this whole world is bad, the world's gone to shit, and there's no time to be a nice, good person like she is because she's from a sheltered life in the vaults. And of course, she leaves the vault because that's a Fallout game, so she has to leave the vault, and this journey happens, thus the TV show happens. And I know they were trying to do, once again, the whole thing of like, you don't understand, you're a naive little child, and I'm a ghoul, I've been doing this for 200 years, and it's tough out here, it's blood and guts out here, it's this and that, it's serious happenings, and ties her to the bait with the giant fish, and then they cut the finger thing was just super unnecessary, and it was really stupid because the whole point of this is like, when you think about it, when you cut off someone's finger, like that's like a critical hit.
Yeah,
we kind of need the thumb to do a lot of things, and taking out the thumb, I think it was the thumb, wasn't it the thumb or was it the index finger?
It was the index finger.
Okay, maybe it was the index finger. Well, either way, that's also a pretty critical hit.
There's a question here, right?
Okay.
Wasn't somewhere in Star Trek that someone cut a thumb or like something off, and then they put it back like prosthetic to put it back on, so that way the actor could they're like he lost an eye, or like, oh no, I'm thinking Thor.
Okay, yes.
Because Thor lost his eye.
Yes, that did happen.
And then they give him a prosthetic eye, so that way.
The film could keep. They don't have to keep digitally putting a digital eyeball in him.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed, that did happen. I'm glad we solved the eyeball question here for you, Mons.
No, the important things on the podcast.
Important tangents we have on the podcast.
That's why I asked you, the folks on the podcast, so that way we can move on.
Indeed. Okay, what am I talking about now? I've totally forgot the plot line here.
Well, about the ghoul and about like his overall
story. Oh yes, because that whole scene about them cutting fingers, like, oh, you cut me, I cut you, oh, it's all fair and even in this world, and it's like, oh, what a gruesome to cut someone's finger off and bite someone's finger off. But it just, And because in the next episode, and like they show that example, because then we get the scene later on from the hospital scene when she breaks out of it and she has the opportunity to leave him for dead, but she's like, no, I'm a better person. And she has the line like, the world might change, but it won't change me, right? I'll change the world, right? Which is a nice character moment, but it seems a little too forceful and a little too blood and gut. Like it's just trying too hard, basically, to really summarize it, which is just unnecessary. A little too on the nose, a little too bloody and violence. A little subtlety would be nice, which also was something I said often in our Final Fantasy VII Rebirth talk.
Yeah.
A little bit more mystery, a little bit subtle. Plus, there was more mystery here than there was in Rebirth. I will give the show this credit for that.
Is it Sephiroth?
No, let's keep him in the party. What's the worst that could happen? Oh, that's what could happen. That is pretty bad. So I understood like what the writers are trying to do, but it was just one episode too long to get there. Mm-hmm. And like I said, a little too bloody, but that would they were trying to... I swear they were trying. Those first 3 episodes were like, I want to get the audience to go, ooh, ah, just like the boys of all the laser beams and he blew off his head and the blood and guts and oh my goodness. But like Frank pointed out, you get pretty numb to it after the first few times. You're just kind of like, okay, so why am I here? Why am I watching the show? Why am I going to stick it with it to episode 8? And it lost its footing early on for that. But once again, it does kind of pick up later on with its mystery. But yes, the world building and the cutting of characters, I feel like could have been better, because I feel like we should have got, and they kind of did this, but I guess I would have done more of it as after they have that, because I like the big moment in the first part of the show where, like I said, the cowboy character, the ghoul, tries to sell her, but she breaks out of that and blows up the place basically. I feel like we should have got more of his story so we understand his background, or better yet, we see his background even before everything a little bit more. So yeah, it's I would have showed more of his back history a little bit more, because that's like it's almost like a Jedi Star Wars thing of like light and dark, right? Yeah. Because he was a good guy. And the show tries to do that with the scene where he's talking about like, can I just like let the guy go? Do I have to really shoot him in the face? Yeah. That seems a little over the top, not unnecessary, right? And it shows like he has a moral compass, right? But of course, because of all the shit that's happened, he's lost his way, if you will, and then just shoots everyone, becomes a gunslinger. He becomes the character he doesn't want to be, just like in the movies, right? Yeah. So I understand what the writers are going for. Mm-hmm. It's good stuff. It's just the little details of how we get to A to B to A, C, D, E, A, B, and all the alphabets. It's a little clunky, and I feel like if we just slip in a little bit more of his story, and because we spent a little too long on the Brotherhood early on, where at the end of the day, they don't really matter. All you need to know is there are cult people who love big weapon technology, which is basically the point in the video game series as well. And I did think it was kind of funny, is like they really try to make the Brotherhood like kind of the villain of the show, I guess is up for debate towards the end, which is like funny because in the video game, and once again maybe I'm just missed it or I'm misremembering, I always thought they were like kind of like oh, all right buddy, all right, kind of like a crazy person, just like, oh yeah, you enjoyed that suit, buddy, that suit's gonna keep you alive, yeah, all right, definitely not gonna shoot you in the back and call it a day here. So I'm curious to see what they do with that, but I guess the kind of changes the villain overall a little bit, which is once again not in the video games without getting into two spoilers just yet. But yeah, like I said, I just feel like the first half is rough and the second half is
trying to fix the first half.
And it's better, but I don't know.
So it's a Star Wars film.
Kind of. Like I said, at this point, I feel like it really matters what happens and what they're going to do in season 2. But it's just interesting because, like I said, the video games don't really tackle these themes and issues. Not really. At least, once again, I'm maybe misremembering. Yeah. Before I remember, it's really not that. It's just about, blood and guts and post-apocalyptic and Last of Us and
your boy,
gotta kill everybody or be kill universe.
And you're Pip-Boy and you're going to go out and you're going to explore wherever you're at.
And it's funny because look at these pictures. They mean, like, they're funny, silly pictures, but they mean horrible things. Ha ha ha, dark comedy. Which I can appreciate, but some of the comedy, the dark comedy parts were kind of just like dumb. Like, oh, you'll never open this door. Oh, he opened the door. It was just like, is that a joke? I guess that's supposed to be a joke. It's not much of a joke, but all right, it's a joke.
A lot of the humor in this show was like
kind of missed sometimes.
And it's like, but it's weird because it's not like seeing like, because we seen Twisted Metal, which like, it was
campiness, and they lean into it.
They lean to it. Like, you're like, I'm 100% playing it straight, and then they'll try some attempt of comedy is made.
Yeah, all of a sudden it's like kind of out of left field and just also it's not even that funny.
It's like, it's like the one that like I mean, the scene where where Lucy and Maximus were, I guess they were in the other vault 4.
Oh yes.
And then like they were recording, hey, you want to have sex? Yeah, but like and then with my dick, yeah.
You gotta he doesn't understand what it means to have sex because he's stuck with a bunch of brothers.
Yeah.
So that part makes sense, and I mean that's like I said, it's not hilarious, but it's funnier than some of the other bad jokes. The worst joke is the part at the end of that or the next episode where it's like, and now you're going to be punished by just leaving. And here's the food supplies.
There's that I forgot that one's probably
because you can see it a mile away, so it's like what the joke is going to be.
And it kind of drags on too long too.
And yeah, that's the problem. It's just too long. It's not that funny. Yeah, and that's the problem. Is like the story. Like it's funny. Like the humor was. I would argue the humor was never very good, but it was slightly better in the first half. But the humor really fell off the second half, but became more of a mystery. So it depends if are you looking for a mystery or are you looking for a dark comedy? Because it does the mysteries better than the dark comedy, I would argue.
Yeah, and I guess I wish that we just focus on the vault, because I feel like because there's a whole conspiracy about the vault and like who runs who, what's the real conspiracy. Like they kind of answered a little bit, but not really. But it's just like they really want to show the Brotherhood of Steel so many, like they're trying to give everyone equal time, but there's how you done it in 8 episodes, between like all the protagonists,
right?
And you can't do it. And then you kind of like, so am I supposed to her? Who's in the right here? Am I following the right person? Are we, is this closure? And then we're doing backstory now of his story we should have done earlier. And it's a very weird way to start explaining itself, I guess.
When
especially talking about, the ghoul's backstory, and I can see and just good old times, and like he did the thumbs up, and that's why he's not doing thumbs up anymore. And then the corporations yet again, like at the end of the day, the big tech companies are the ones that got together and they want to make sure we build America the right way.
Capitalism is bad. Which is like, I get it, but like, I don't know. It just doesn't.
Well, it got too silly because everyone it became a propaganda piece of like, the big tech is stupid because they want to destroy the whole world.
What are you talking about? My AI device pen works very lovely. All right, Miles.
Yeah, the one that barely works unless you're next to your
definitely
phone.
Unique technology, doesn't run off Android. Definitely not at all.
So, it's just like there's a lot unnecessary fluff they try to add in there as well because they're trying to stretch this out to 8 episodes in a way.
I mean, but that is the series, I would argue, or the video games at least. So, too surprising they go there, but okay.
And then what happened to the brother? That's another.
The sad part is, once again, the brother's plotline was the only one that kept me going in the first half of the show because everyone else's plotline it didn't do it because everyone just seemed like an asshole, and I'm just like, okay, everyone's an asshole except her. So it's just like, who do I cheer for? Who do I want to watch? And like, I didn't hate anyone. That was it's like there's one of like I don't hate anyone and I don't really like anyone, so I'm stuck in mediocre town, which is a weird place to be with several lead characters. You're hoping you get attached to one of them. But and I know like the most is because it's the actor being the ghoul guy. It just seemed like I wish they explained more of his backstory a little bit more, so you could be like, oh, I understand. It's like understanding once again how Anakin fell, right? Which is not the greatest answer, but in your head it was a better answer.
Or like Two-Face kind of in a way.
Yeah, like Two-Face will work, right? And that's actually a better comparison. But you kind of understand of how did he become here because he wasn't always like this, right? Which fair enough, I can appreciate stories like that because then she influences him and then he blah blah, the light in the dark, and he's understandable and you can relate to him even if you don't like him or dislike him, but you can understand him, which is always a good thing for a viewer and a person trying to tell a story, that you could have some connection to the characters in the story. So like that part eventually works out better, but I guess it just depends because also he was a little broken too. Someone wasn't also an anime fan.
Well, yeah, they did some power
towards the climax of the show. He was just like, all right, time to go Super Saiyan.
He's his ultimate at the end.
Yeah, he definitely saved up his all 5 of his bars to use his ultimate.
It's time to press the U key, and there you go.
Indeed. Trying to think of anything that isn't like super spoiler-ish. How are you feeling about this, Frank? Am I doing a better job, making it better or worse, the same?
Oh, yeah. Maybe I won't watch it.
I won't watch it. All right.
It's not saying nothing that's interesting. So far, story-wise, nothing has sounded intriguing. So we'll see. Maybe.
How do you like? How much do you like the Sixth Sense, Frank?
Oh, it's fine. It's good.
There you go. Well, if you like twists like that, then maybe the ending of the show might make you a little bit more interested in it, since it's basically a Sixth Sense kind of moment.
Okay. Well, all right. I'm back in. I'm back on.
In. All right. Well, then I've done my job. Attaboy me.
Still at the back of the list, but
yeah, I don't blame you, Frank. I don't blame you. If it wasn't for this podcast, I don't think I would have bothered finishing it. I won't lie. It really was because it was part of the homework assignment. I actually finished it.
But that's what we do, folks. In this podcast, we make sure we will suffer.
Yeah, for your entertainment, indeed.
Anyway, so I guess we're to go with, are we falling out with Fallout?
I think I've said everything that isn't 100% spoilers.
Good, Frank?
I'm done with it. Let's go.
All right.
He's buried it already.
All right, let's go on to, I guess, the real main event. That was the main event. This is the real main event.
That was the appetizer.
Exactly. Now here comes the real main course.
Godzilla, Gojira, whoever choose your favorite language you were talking about.
Accent or not.
And war crimes. I mean, World War II.
He did more war crimes than Japan did. According to this movie.
I am going to leave that there.
Let's ask the rest of Asia. Oh, and they disagree. Why is that? Weird.
Well, they're not very affirmation. Clearly, the Japanese were good guys.
Censorship.
So let's see. Where do we start here? So basically, this is -1. So it's before, obviously, I think
the OG.
Because the OG one happened in 1955. I think a movie chronologically in 1955 is like literally end of the war. 1945,
46.
We meet our poor man who the failed kamikaze pilot
But Miles, how can he be a failed kamikaze pilot? What's a kamikaze? I was born 10 minutes ago.
So basically, this happened at the end of World War II. Obviously, Japan lost. Shock.
Well.
But we're dealing with the pilots of people. Kamikaze are people who pretty much drove their planes and blew themselves up, pretty much. But our main protagonist, he got
with honor here, Miles. The details. It was a great honor to kill yourself for the great nation of Japan in order to beat the Allied forces in World War II.
Yeah, according to their beliefs.
To their Japanese belief at the time.
But our poor homeboy, he couldn't do it. So he chickened out. He went to, I guess, one nearby islands to get his plane fixed.
Despite he had no issues with his plane.
And then suddenly Godzilla just shows up.
That happens.
And says, "Yo, everybody, I'm Godzilla. Here
How's
I am."
it going?
It must be a record. Like 5 minutes in, it's just like, oh, he just shows up. Okay.
Not a slow burner. Definitely not.
But he's a cute little guy. He's only like this tall. He's not.
He's a little Godzuki. At that point.
Yeah, he was just a teenage
pocket size. You could say he's a pocket monster.
Yes. Yeah. The pocket me like almost 10 feet tall.
He should have brought his Pokeballs. If he brought his Pokeballs, he would have had a chance.
Well, you argue he had no balls. Oh.
I mean, that's true.
So, then everyone's trying to deal with that. This happened like literally just off like, hi, here I am. I'm going to blow you up because F you. That's why.
Yeah, it's my movie, so I'm going to show up.
So everyone tried to survive that. And then the war ended. And then he goes back to his hometown. They pretty much call him a coward for not dying with honor. That was lasted for 2 years to 1947. That's always awesome. And then he tries to rebuild his life together. Takes another L. And then now he becomes basically Jaws.
A little bit.
It becomes Jaws.
A little bit.
Jaws, the movie in which, we try to, we have to stop Godzilla because according to the U.S., the U.S. is the one who made Godzilla the way we know now. Right?
Well, yes, because they dropped the bomb, which then it showed. Well, I think you walked out of the room for this part, Miles. But yes, the Americans dropped the atomic bomb. It somehow hits Godzilla after, I guess, a day or 2 weeks after the incident on the little island he stopped at. He gets out with the bomb and he gets radioactive, becomes the real Godzilla, as I guess we know him today, ?
He leveled up.
He definitely leveled the fuck up.
And then he went and say, I don't like that. It pretty much goes to Token to make, I guess, his habitat, or according to the lore, trying to make the island his home. Everyone,
so greedy.
No one liked that idea. So a bunch of your local Japanese workers who have enough years they have not just came up from the war trying to rebuild their efforts.
And here goes this fucker.
Bands together and tries to get him off the island. Shoo.
Off with you, big lizard man.
And that's pretty much just in the movie. I guess first impressions overall, this is a Toho pod, so it's actually the legit Godzilla. It's not like your Western one with him, King Kong, bumping fists and going around and doing somersaults on top of the plane for some reason. It's like more, it's supposed to be low budget, but clearly there's a lot of CGI in this thing.
There's a few more dollars than you would expect, I'll say that. It did win an Academy Award.
But it did, for the most part, effects wise, they did try to make practical, they try to make it practical as they can. They, and I guess, at the end of the day, they try to kind of like rally, kind of like Jaws. We always go back to Jaws, because like the town folk rally up and like, we'll take care of him somehow.
F this guy.
Because the government said the U.S. can't intervene because Russia said no.
What was even that? It was more like, we're too busy fighting the Russians. Bye. We're doing Fallout. Bye. Sounds like your problem now.
Yeah, we were like, history says, no, they actually were there, but sure.
Well, it does ask you to not know your world/American history.
Some people argue the history that Japan recognizes. Anyway.
Well, it's just I'm surprised how many boats and airplanes they had left over after the war, considering they stripped them of everything and constantly we were watching them to make sure they didn't start any more wars, considering all the devastation they caused in Asia. But, less is more, in my opinion, in that regards, that part of the movie, because if we don't acknowledge it, then we forgot about world history. But when they bring it up, it makes you go like, wait, that's a good point. Why would America just get up and leave? That seems rather unsafe.
So, at the end of the day, the movie was like, us, the local town folk, will take care of the problem ourselves because the government will fail us again.
Well, the world will fail us again.
The world fails.
It's up to Japan to save Japan.
Yeah, so there's
the nation rally cry.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the movie. It's just a lot of hometown pride, I guess.
Who would have thunk Japan has to defeat an evil monster and for the greater good? I mean, that's every Godzilla movie, or at least the early ones, at least.
So, I guess any opening thoughts, Frank?
Well, I guess, I'm trying to think what I can say without saying spoilers, because I'm sure there'll be a spoilers part.
There will be.
Well, I looked at this movie a bit different. I don't know, probably because you said that this is all original Godzilla, not
American Godzilla.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm not exactly sure what the difference is.
Designs.
That's it.
And storylines don't really match up.
Okay, so that's more of where I was trying to figure out what the difference were storyline wise. But basically, in short, I liked the movie. It was cool. I think it makes more sense that Godzilla is the bad guy,
right? Versus the good guy.
Like I feel like all the Godzilla movies I've seen, which I'm probably sure all the ones over here.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, why are they trying so hard to make him like, oh no, he's not really trying to kill us.
He's misunderstood, Frank.
He was actually trying to kill that big monster way over
not
there.
us.
And he just happened to destroy the whole town.
Whoops-a-daisy.
Our lovely protector.
When you're that big, you get a little clumsy.
Let's be nice to him. So that was refreshing and cool.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it definitely makes more sense. I like how, and I'm just gonna keep comparing it to the newest Godzillas that came out here.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the opposite of what we were talking about with FF7 and Fallout, where too much is bad, and
Mm-hmm.
here I feel like it wasn't too much Godzilla. I didn't feel like, oh man, like I saw him do this earlier, or every time he came out, he did different stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that part where you said it was Jaws, I thought that part was really cool, and I felt like, even though he was just chasing 4 guys,
yeah,
it felt like, oh shit, like it's real stuff is going down, and like
it's a big guy.
I think it did a good job of demonstrating the seriousness and intense moments of what was going on. So that's the Godzilla part. But even though Godzilla is in this movie and it was about World War II?
Two.
I feel like at its core, this movie was about the kamikaze pilot and him getting over his path.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he says at one point, my war is not over.
Right.
And I think even though like most of us don't go to war, I feel like at some point we all have a war inside, and like we probably can't let it go. And I thought that was pretty cool the way like because there's a part where they ask him like, how come you don't like her? Like she likes you, or and I thought he was kind of dumb for not going for it,
right?
And when he said that, I'm like, oh, okay, now like I thought like before that line, I was like, this guy's dumb. Like I don't know why. Like
lock it up.
Like
what is it? Look at the dense protagonist over here
taking care of this family, and like he's not even.
It's not even official yet. Come on, how many years has it been?
Like seal the deal, like
like come on,
living together, making meals together.
They're living in your house for God's sake.
I don't know.
Still thinking about it,
and it didn't click to me. I guess I'm glad I can turn off my brain sometimes, but at the same time, it kind of makes me feel dumb. Like, oh yeah. So yeah, to me, it was about a guy getting over his troubled past and sprinkling Godzilla.
There you go.
That's my thoughts.
Yeah, I guess early on for myself, pretty similar. That is definitely the main scope. It is Survivor Guilt, the movie, and it is about
how many else can you take in this movie?
Yes, and it does deal with that of this guy who, once again, you gotta think of with the Japanese perspective of this is what they did. They died for the emperor, for the glory. This is the war to end of all wars. If we win this, we're number one. And that's going to be great for us and terrible for everyone else. But we're a small little nation. We're tired of getting picked on, and the rest of Asia is getting picked on by the world. So we're going to show them that we're number one. We're these little islanders called from this land, Japan. We're going to be number one. And of course, World War II happens, and the ending of World War II happens, and that doesn't go in their favor. And so then you're left to holding the bag, going, well, then fuck, what do we do? We never thought we were going to lose, and we lost. So what the fuck happens now? And I was saying from his angle of he was supposed to die with honor, because that was the way you just did things as a kamikaze pilot. You were literally trained to dive your plane into a ship and take the ship down, as many people with you, and you did your job. High five. But towards the later part of the war, when it sure looks like they have no choice, or there's no chance of surviving the war, or they're going to win the war, and it's a lost cause, then that's when he loses his hope and dreams and everything he believed in. And once again, the survivor guilt of all these other people on that. And you get that early on when he gets back home, and I guess it was like a neighbor friend or childhood friend, sounds like, where she's like, what, you're alive? How are you alive? You're a kamikaze. Yeah. You're supposed to be fucking dead. It's like, you asshole, my husband, my children have all died. How the fuck are you alive? You should be the first one dead. If you did your fucking job, my family would have survived, right? And it's just,
damn, she said that.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Basically
she went hardcore on his ass when he came home.
That? And I don't remember though.
Oh yeah, no. She went to town on him. And they're supposed to be friends, supposedly. At least that's what it's suspected. And so yeah, it's just, like I said, Survivor Guilt, the movie, and he has that whole point, and then he meets the girl who picks up the little girl, or I don't,
child.
Yeah, the child, I guess, right? And then he kind of becomes like adopted family, and years have passed. The country slowly heals, and here comes Godzilla to fuck it up all over again. And so that's, that is the premise of early Godzilla movies. And so I was happy to see that Godzilla, once again, as Frank said, he is the bad guy. It makes sense that nuclear, and we see in the movie, is nuclear makes him even bigger and becomes even more monstrous, out of control, because he's kind of like, they teased in this movie that he's like a mythical creature that shows up only in this little islands outside the Pacific, away from Japan, Tokyo, Japan.
Yeah.
The Kanto region, let's say. But ever since he went nuclear, he really went ham and decided to go for the heart of the nation. Overall, it's a good movie. I guess the somewhat downside is I heard nothing but hype for this movie. And so when we actually saw it, I thought, like, it's a good movie. I don't think it's that good as all the hype suggested. But, that's just my sad
the problem
luck, I guess, is the way to
describe
describe
the movie requires you to kind of take some things a little, the grain of salt, are a little magic wave of the hand.
Like the whole American World War II hand waviness, but I'm kind of used to that, as I talked multiple times on the podcast when it comes to Japan and their perspective of World War II. Yes, a giant nuclear monster come wrecking your town after surviving a world war. That does definitely suck. I can understand the human element indeed in that situation. I guess my small complaint, without getting too many spoilers, is I thought I don't mind having Godzilla show up like in the first few minutes, if anything catches you by surprise, but in a good kind of surprise. The problem for me is my brain kicked in and went like, what are the odds This guy decides to coward his way out of all the islands in all the Pacific. He shows up on this one island where this T-Rex looking motherfucker shows up one night and wreaks havoc on the island. And then he shows up many years later, and here comes this big Godzilla nuclear version now stepping on his doorstep going, I remember you, motherfucker. Yeah. It just seems very statistically unlikely for this to occur in this man's like 5-year lifespan.
Yeah.
But I guess he just has a bad juju curse on him ever since the war. So I guess he's supposed to just to go with it. To be there the one night he shows up and wrecks havoc, and then show up so many years later again to do it all over again on a bigger scale.
Goes silent, survives, comes back, takes another L.
Yeah.
And like
it just seems a little too picture perfect, story perfect for the right. And once again, I know what the writers are going for, the Survivor Guild and trying to get over the war, his own personal war. I get it. Just a little heavy-handed on the early on. But overall, it is a good movie and is worth your time. Much better quality, guaranteed hit versus Fallout for sure. But once again, it's not I don't think it's a 5 out of 5 or whatever you want to call it, as everyone else seems to think it is.
Well, as like we always say, like Bioshock Infinite, not 12 out of 10. Probably.
Yeah, the hype train got a little carried away with this one also, and the special effects are good, but they're not. They're good for for considering their budget. Amazing.
You think that's why it was, because the way I saw it was they were kind of going for like an old school kind of look, and
true.
I wasn't, so I'm not sure if that's.
Well, I think it's like a little bit of A, a little bit of B, kind of like they want to go for the old school Godzilla 1950. No,
right.
But at the same time, also, but it's also it costs a lot of money.
Yeah, like it didn't bother me, but I guess as a person who's seen the Academy Awards a lot and seen what they pick as the winner, I'm surprised that they picked this as the winner, considering they want like, practical, realistic effects, when there's certain parts of the movie you're like, yeah, that's definitely a computer doing that. Which, like, it didn't really affect me, but I was just surprised it got the award considering the budget and the final product. But once again, I know the budget was like $10, and they made the most out of that $10, 1,000%. So I guess if it's the award for the most like productive, overworked, and not highly a paid crew, oh yeah, they definitely deserve the Academy Award for that aspect. Yes. Yeah. But overall, a good movie and worth definitely watching if you have a Netflix subscription and you've always been curious about the Godzilla's, I guess, OG Godzilla franchise, because they're all different, and depending on which era of Godzilla, you get a very different product. But if you enjoyed Shin Godzilla, this is pretty much up there with Shin Godzilla. But I might have liked Shin Godzilla a little bit more.
Yeah, well, does he turn to an angel at the end? No, then
there you go. The thing I liked about that one, just like how you mentioned it earlier, Miles, it's a little bit more Jaws-esque, where Godzilla's a bit more of a mystery and not really seen on camera until he goes berserk in Shin Godzilla. You're like, oh, there you go. Well, here he's like, oh shit, here he is. All right, he just gets bigger.
We always have the cue music.
There you go.
I mean, I swear, I bet you if we watch the other ones, like somehow makes it fit in.
Somehow that melody and is gonna show.
Put that in again. But Demi does right now. But they love it.
It's fine though. It's good though. So yes, a very good movie overall.
All right, gentlemen, you want to go into spoilers for a hot second, or already we're good? Because I mean, it's a Godzilla movie. Godzilla comes in.
Does he destroy Tokyo?
Destroy Tokyo yet again.
God damn it! What an asshole.
And then comes back and destroys it again.
Give him a few more years, he'll get better.
Or I guess, are we good?
That was freaky, I guess, as we're talking about that now. The fact of, like, when they, I guess spoilers on also, by the way, because it wasn't obvious.
Okay.
When they blow up his face and he just regenerates his face, like, oh, fuck, this guy's a freakazoid. Can't kill it. And, like, literally, like, Jaws, give him 2 barrels. He can't go stay alive with 2 barrels,
Yeah.
And that he just took it on the chin and got back up. And it was kind of freaky to see that big old eyeballs just chasing them down the ocean sea. It's like, oh, this guy's, he's a big freakazoid.
But is it like Shin Godzilla, which, the whole able thing just happened?
The Jaws and everything.
And I'm like,
just becomes an angel.
And like, look at the glowing thing. I swear, I thought we were doing it again. Like,
well, you gotta do the atomic breath. That's the Godzilla classic.
And the only problem is that protagonist, like, man, that guy, like, he wrote. So he must have like went under like a bridge. The
ladder, Black Cat.
All like at least
stepped on all the cracks.
All 50 years or whatever, however long he lived, just to get to this. Like, how did you survive? And you survive this?
Got no luck. Absolutely no luck.
So, gentlemen, do you want any talk about any other spoilers and things you guys want to talk about, or?
I do want to say a couple of more things. I'm not sure how much spoiler they're considered, but just things I liked. I liked how the guy.
Frank thoughts. Let's hear
Frank thoughts.
I liked how the guy and the girl met. I thought that was kind of cute. And how he was like, "Well, don't stay here." Like, and she's just like, you're a good guy. I'm gonna stay with you.
Yeah, you look all right.
I thought it was kind of cool how the relationships changed throughout different characters. Like, for example, I just called her the neighbor lady.
Yeah.
I didn't get the sensation that they were friends. Of course, she hated him for not doing his duty, even though it's like
you could have gotten the
like
plane.
I would have like if it was no reason to kill yourself. Like why? Like
well, and that's the argument, especially towards the end of the war, where it doesn't make much sense.
I thought it was kind of cool how because he started taking care of the baby, she was like, oh, well, you know what? I'm gonna help out too, but just for the baby, not for you.
Right.
And then they ended up like getting along.
Sundari.
I thought it was cool how I thought the girl died, but I was just like, I'm not sure how I feel that part where, although it was kind of stupid the way how she pushed him out of the way.
That's like Miles' bigger comment in the whole movie.
Well,
just grab him and go together. Grab and go.
Because there was clearly like
there's time.
There was a timer limit on. The timer's like 30 seconds. She thought it for 20 seconds. Oh, see, should I grab him this way? Don't grab him that way. Do I? And then like the timer turning red. Like okay, just
well, there's no drama if she pushes them both together in the alleyway. And that was the alleyway in the building that lasted, by the way.
Yeah,
everything else building collapsed around them, but that one survived.
Good thing this wall is made with
Good thing you could take this L too.
Thank you, Vaultec.
Basically. Wait a minute.
But it says,
bum bum bum.
But it's just like one of those like, it just killed the movie because like why did she like the homeboy hasn't suffered enough. The director's like, you know what? His story's not. He's not sad enough. Let him lose.
That reminds me of my other point. But I'll talk about it later.
Like, let him lose this too. You guys life back together. You guys life together. Okay, let's crush the spirit. And it's just.
Is that a smile on his face? Fuck him up.
Yeah. I saw a smile. Gotta go. It got too silly after that point of like how much else this guy took this movie.
Back to Frank, I believe.
Yeah, Frank.
Just Frank.
Yeah, because I was talking because before you mentioned that we were gonna talk about this movie, I was already gonna watch it because my coworker, he's like, "Oh, you should check it out," and I'm like, "All right, fine." And I watched it in 2 parts because I couldn't finish it all in one night. And I got to that part and I was like talking to him like, "Why did she just not tackle him? Like, remember your football practice? Come on,
yeah."
Like. We were just like making fun of that part, and then another part we were making fun of is because I told him like, do they ever mention why it's called -1? And he was like, no, like I watched the whole movie and it just like it makes no sense. And I was like, I was just telling him like, so they're gonna be like part 2. It's gonna be like Godzilla -1 plus X equals Y. Like, what's going
to be a math here? No. Shit! I gotta bring my calculator.
It's gonna be like Goofy Kingdom Hearts. It's gonna be like
36 under 2, 90 days.
0.6
recoded.
0.6.
Got to bring out your flip phone for this one.
Yeah, so I was like, it was just like I was hoping something would relate to it, but I see nothing. I think it was just sounds cool.
I believe, and I don't know this for a fact, but I am assuming. Because this is a prequel, that's why it's called -1. It's before 1.
Oh, okay. Well, see, now I feel better.
Okay. Yeah. Hopefully that is the correct answer.
Unless there's 0 next time.
Well, I was saying, that's why I kind of went 0. Oh, before 0. Oh, then what's 0?
What else did I enjoy? I like the sound effects that, or like just the music background when Godzilla would come out like that.
The classic Godzilla thing.
I thought that was cool.
That is a classic.
So yeah, just it had a good atmosphere to the movie.
And the strings.
Oh no! Yeah.
I didn't like, or maybe didn't understand the whole plan to kill Godzilla, where they were demonstrating a shoe sinking,
drown him basically.
Well, it's some Dr. Stone nonsense. So
a little bit.
So basically, they say like, because they're obviously trying to totally rip it from Jaws. Yeah. So they say like, okay, we'll get in with these barrels, and these barrels have like a type of gas. I think it's like Freon, which is a gas, that when combined with water, it makes you sink. The whole science.
Okay, I get that part.
And that's why, they said, like, because, he's always underwater, they want to force him to go down underwater. And because, obviously as you go farther down, the water pressure, your body can't, can't maintain pressure because you're going.
You got to adapt to the different pressure levels.
Yeah, the more pressure, they were trying to crush him with the water pressure.
Basically.
Right. And then they figure, okay, worst case, if that fails, he doesn't die, right? Then they'll try to, use the inflatables to push him back up, and going up
too quickly
from that death will kill him. But obviously,
wait, okay, so that's the part where they lost me. Like, going up kills him?
Yes. If you go to, this is a true thing. This is like this is actual science, actually. If you say like you jumped off a cliff, right, and there's like a body of water underneath you, right? The impact from jumping from that high into the water might not kill you, right? Statistically, the odds it could happen, but are less likely to happen. But if you fell so fast, so high, so fast, and you hit the water and you fell down, and then you come straight back up immediately, your ears, your brain cannot adjust to the pressure of the two different levels that quickly, because you're up all the way high, then you're all the way down low, and then you're back up.
Okay.
It is actually a thing that does. The details phase me, but yes, that is basically
it's
what
like
happened.
That's why submarines and a lot of things that go like to
right.
Deep don't have to.
They can only go so far because your body has to adjust to the pressure, and then they could go down a little bit deeper and adjust to the pressure and go then deeper.
That's why they always had to pressurize the submarines and that, so that way they could calculate. While we're going down there, then we have to make sure we're at that level.
We have to match the level, because if we don't match, our head explodes.
Okay.
Basically, it's like the same idea to space, I think.
Rough as gravity.
Okay.
So yes, that is
science.
Science. It's crazy.
In my mind, was like, just keep him down there. Like, he wasn't moving. Like,
there you go. If he stays down there, he doesn't come back up, and he can't destroy Tokyo.
Yeah, he'll go through the rift and end up in Pacific Rim.
Yeah, because
there you go.
I was watching it, and then I kind of stopped paying like full attention, and I wasn't listening to the plan.
It's a lot.
And I was like, and so that's when I stopped. I went to work, and I was talking to my friend.
That is quite the cliffhanger.
And I was like, okay, so I got to like where they were about to try to kill him, but I didn't listen to the plan. I was like, I just figured, I don't need to know. Surprise me.
They'll shoot him.
But I went back, and I was like, I'll go back. I'll listen.
Throw another nuclear bomb.
And I was like, I should have just not listened. Like, I was just like, okay.
Uh-oh.
So yeah, that part I would say felt a little silly to me, because in my mind, like, just keep him down there. Just keep him down there. Like, don't kill him. Like, as long as he can't come back. Like,
right. As long as he leaves us alone.
But I guess maybe he would have gotten away somehow.
Well, they can't kill him because I guess this is still part of the original timeline where he does have to show up in the 50s and wreck Tokyo all over again.
So, I did like the laser. That was pretty cool. And how just his spikes.
That laser.
Yeah, when it goes shoot.
Right,
yeah,
build it up.
That was cool.
That's good hype.
And lastly,
but he didn't split his mouth open.
There you go.
I thought it was nice how, I felt that he was gonna die, and then the guy was like, here's an injection sheet.
Oh, yes.
It was just like, because this is how I saw it. He felt he didn't do his duty. And
should have just gone in the bathroom.
And he should have died.
Right.
So in his mind, in order to redeem himself, he's gotta kill himself.
Right.
And he was ready to do that. He was gonna do that. I think if it was anybody else, like, because it was the guy that told him, you need to do this.
Right.
He was
the only other survivor of the first incident.
I think if it was like a different mechanic, he was like, yeah, there's an injection sheet. I think he would have killed himself, because it's like, no, you don't know. Like, I messed up. People died because of me.
Yeah.
But it was this guy telling him, like, you know what? I forgive you. Try to live.
Exactly.
And I thought that was like releasing, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And it was kind of like nice that it had a happy ending.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like, well, maybe it shouldn't have had a happy ending. Like,
well, it has to, because he can't come up because Godzilla has to happen.
No, I mean, like, when he goes to the hospital at the end.
It's a little too happy.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know how she survives that. Like,
without getting into too many, it's a little too much like Clannad after story. A little too happy of an ending, perhaps.
Yeah.
I'm like, that was like a pretty strong blast.
Yeah, like, wow. She's a tough cookie.
She's nuclear, like.
Maybe she's got.
Well, they did tease at the end that something's on with her.
Oh yeah, I did that. You told me about that part, and I walked out of that part.
Yeah, because like they're teased that that she got some radioactive ability or something.
The new Captain Marvel.
I must have missed that. But yeah, I wasn't totally sure how to feel about people surviving, because I don't know. I guess I'm at a point where I just want people to like it's just
feel like me.
It's kind of like when Guy Sensei didn't die.
Oh,
I was like, come on, that would have been a good way to go.
Yeah, well, I haven't thought that in a minute, but I don't disagree.
I mean, like, that was the whole point of the 8th gate. Like,
I'd argue, what's the point of Rock Lee?
Like, come on, like, if you use it, you're done.
That does seem like that was the equivalent exchange.
Anyways,
he got better.
That was cool. I enjoyed it. I think this is like borderline must watch. I would say, like, I wouldn't feel bad if I just tell people like, yeah, watch it. But borderline. The strong winds could push it. But yeah, cool. I'm glad I watched it.
Yeah, I have pretty similar feelings of the ending is nice, maybe a little too nice, perhaps. But I do feel like in a story like this, we have to have a somewhat happier ending than.
Well, man suffered a lot in that movie.
Well, that's what it is, and that because you can easily make the comparison with this movie with like
reminds me of Ocean's 13. That poor guy had to.
Oh,
so for all like the 4 stars.
Pull, but yes, I know what you're talking about.
Like, no, here you go.
He put him through all the torture, and then he wins the jackpot at the airport.
Yeah,
indeed. But yeah, so what I was gonna say is, I got similar vibes with Kenshin, right? Because it's the whole point of Kenshin, kind of like, what do you do after you're supposed to be a samurai and you fought for what you believe in, and blah blah blah, and why are you still alive, and this and that, and why he becomes a wandering samurai. It's just like this character in this movie of like, what do I do? I was supposed to die, but I didn't die, and he kind of gets his life together, kind of like I said, finding this adopted family and trying to find a purpose and meaning in his life, especially when he's helping out with his Jaws crew with the boat and shooting out the mines.
Yeah.
And so I wish we had a little bit more of that too. Also, it would have been a little bit nice, just so we get a little bit more time with that crew, because they're almost like just characters of characters than actual real characters. Like, he's the smart one, he's the rough one, he's the young one, and it's like I mean, I get it, but like I said, it would have been nice to have a little bit more screen time with them, get the camaraderie, so when the drama does happen, you're like, oh no. But yeah, that's a good scene, like I said, with like literally Jaws with the giant shark, and there he is chasing them down with the big beady eyes, like, holy fuck, this guy. And yeah, the ending, and yeah, just dive, do the football tackle. You think with the American presence there, they would tell a little bit more American football strategy tactics. Yeah. I guess MacArthur dropped that ball there.
Yeah, well, he was too busy finding the Russians.
He's finding the Russians, and that's how. And then Fallout happens right after this, right? That's how this works, right?
Oh, this was the alternate time. I got it.
This is indeed. It all lines up. And then the speaking about and as you talked about this a little bit, Frank, the coincidence of like, wow, that's convenient. And the one that kind of I'm like, all right, now my disbelief is destroyed is, out of all the days, out of all the years Godzilla could attack Tokyo, out of all the times, years, once again, he basically decided to tackle the wife's train car that morning when she just started her new job in Ginza, on that train at that moment of time. Like, you know what the statistical odds are of this creature doing that?
She hang on to that train for a hot second,
and she surviving the fall in the water. Like, sure, maybe she'll survive.
Nathan Drake impression.
Well, she pulls a Luke Skywalker. She's drenched, falls in the lake, and next she's just there in Ginza, no problems, totally dry.
Along with the protagonist.
Yeah, she apparently took Marty McFly's jacket, and she now dry, but then she forgot her NFL blitz move afterwards.
Yeah, so never. Then the protagonist shows up, out
of all the, you know how big Tokyo is, and oh look, there's my wife right there. Like, oh, how convenient. He bumps into the wife in this chaotic scene of Tokyo being destroyed by this giant lizard, and yet there's my wife. Wonderful. The one who just fell off a train.
Where's my watch? Okay, found her.
Yeah. He definitely had his Apple Watch, the GPS on that day. So it's very, very coincidental and convenient for all these things to happen. Once again, I said early on, he's on the island. The one time Godzilla shows his ugly face, this mythical creature. He sees it. He's the only one of 2 survivors of that incident. It's a lot of coincidence. He finds the mechanic just in time for him to... It's very cool. If you turn on your brain, like I tend to when it comes to these things, it's a little hard to swallow. But if you could turn off your brain and go with the flow and understand what the writers are going for, it is a good experience, a good ride, and it makes you feel a little optimistic in the world we find ourselves in.
Yeah,
since,
you too believe in the Japanese people as they struggle to survive from a war that they kind of started.
Well, there's that too. Once again, like I said, turn off your brain when it comes to World War II world history and how that's supposed to go and what happens and blah, 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 blah. But yes, if you just think of it as on a more personal level about this guy who's trying to, deal with, once again, his survivor guilt and trying to make a better change. And I do like that because most movies, the easy answer is, well, now he's going to kill himself and he's going to regain his honor, right? But we don't know that till the very end where it's like, oh, there he is. And like, what do you mean he's in the sky? I thought this guy killed himself. And then they flash back and right here is the ejector seat. And you see him like, what? It's like, and there's like Frank pointed out, it's like, that's when he forgave them. And if it wasn't that guy forgiving him, he would have not hit the ejector seat. And so I think that was like probably the best touch overall in the movie did.
Yeah.
So I did appreciate that. And now I forgot about that tease you said, Miles. So I guess look forward to -2 or whatever we're going to do.
No, it'll be like 365 over 2 years or something.
Or what's this going to be? Kaiju number 9? Is that Kaiju number 9 right here? So yes, but yes, overall a good movie that you should watch, especially if you have a Netflix account. Is worth your time. It is the best movie of all time, and blah 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 blah. I don't think I'm ready to go there just yet, but it's definitely worth watching.
It is something when the opportunity arises, you want to watch that movie.
Yes, and especially like I said, if you're an anime fan and you're a little hesitant, I think this is a good place to start, especially if you did watch Shin Godzilla and you haven't seen any other Godzilla stuff. This is also a good place to jump into, and then who knows, maybe you'll jump into the original movies.
That's not here?
Yeah, I know. Maybe not as much Eva stuff happening down here, but Godzilla's the bad guy. It's about nuclear wars and the consequences of using such devastation weapons, personal survivor guilt going on, and yeah, it's just a good story about a soul healing process that I think a lot of humans can understand, because once again, as Frank pointed out, maybe not all of us deal with actual warfare, but we each have our own personal battles that we have to face ourselves and overcome as well.
Your Persona 4
There you go.
All right, so I guess that wraps up our nuclear podcast for the week.
It was quite an explosive good time, perhaps.
I can't wait for the next Fallout.
You could say it was radioactive, maybe.
With spider blood.
Indeed.
So I guess with that concludes the podcast for today. Look forward to next time when we're gonna tackle, because it's June, so it's time to tackle video games once again. The big giant slog of games that are supposed to come out sometime this year or / next year, and we'll see what happens during the summer game fest.
But also, Miles, remember, after that, we also have our spring review anime season around the corner as well.
Everyone's like, I'm sorry, what now?
Yes, and then of course after that, then is our summer preview session, right? Also right behind that as well. They're like Godzilla chasing each other's tails or something.
Yeah. No, you go first. You go first.
They are quite the massive task, both of them.
Don't worry, because there'll always be something to listen to on the Otaku podcast. And for that, I bid adieu.